originally from Belgium, been in Singapore for 10 years, and 6 years ago started 9 Yards Innovation. And 9 Yards Innovation has been primarily focused, in the past at least, on doing consulting for clients such as a DBS, an Accenture, a Temasek, and so on. And so with Corona, we had a bit of some time to reflect, as many companies have had. And basically, myself and the team, we wanted to change two things. First of all, what we saw is that a lot of projects these days were a lot more about data. And so we navigate in the space of people. Like, I'm a psychologist, and we understand people in a lot of depth. And in the past, a lot of projects were more about qualitative data, and now we could see a change more to quantitative data. Right. And the second shift that we had noticed that we really wanted to address is that a lot of these companies had the same type of problems, and that actually some products, some API could address some of these problems. And so we said, look, from being a pure consulting company, why don't we actually focus a bit more on data? So do more consulting service in the data space, but in addition to that, also bring to market what we call a behavioral analytics suite. So basically merging the best of people science, social science, psychology, and data science. And then from there, creating different APIs that can help companies in different areas. It can be in recruitment, it can be in advertisement, it can be in dating, matchmaking and dating. So there's different problems that we can try to solve, and we would like to become some kind of an incubator for those ideas and those data models, and then bring them to market through APIs. Right. So that's what we've been working on.
Right, very, yeah.
So we currently already have, and that's primarily because we have done projects with clients in the recruitment space, and that many of these clients have the same questions. Like, how do I, like, clients in terms of, I mean, HR is very clear in terms of skills, right? We need someone who can do Java, Python, is very clear. But in terms of behaviors, there's a lot of uncertainty, like what kind of personality would be a better fit for the job. And so we have already developed a data model and are creating the API as we speak to basically map a candidate's personality, candidate's behavior to a job and to a company culture. And so that is our starting point. So that is the first API that we are bringing to the market, and we're actually launching very soon with a job board. So a job board will actually take our API, and the API is based upon text analysis. So a lot of NLP, a lot of machine learning, and a lot of expert analysis has gone into this. And so basically we will elevate the smartness, if you will, from the job board. We make it more smart by analyzing and predicting not only skills, but also behaviors. And so soon we will be going live and we'll be experimenting with this job board, but the intent is to scale this, right? So how can we take this API and many others and to basically offer them to more companies in the future? We're just before go live with this specific API, and this go live that it will be in a job board called Gig Remotely. So it's a Singapore startup, and they're focusing on remote jobs, a lot of developers jobs as well, by the way. So you should definitely go and check it out. And so this will be kind of like an experiment to a certain extent. And so we have developed this specific data model, and we are just about to create the APIs, and then we will plug them in because the design is ready, and then experiment with it and see what's working, what's not working, and improve it. And then take this case as, take the learnings of this case and see what we need to improve. And then work with other bigger job boards. We have 2 bigger job boards that we are having conversations with to actually do something similar, where they would give us a lot of data, we analyze it, and then we try to see whether our current APIs work for them or whether we need to do something else for them. And so I would say we're just before API creation. And so we're at this moment working with part-timers and freelancers. And we think it's about time that we have someone in-house. And in-house for us means like, look, we're API development is key. So we do need someone who can code. Okay. But because we work with lots of data and data models, it would be great to have someone who either has experience in data or someone who has appetite and willingness to learn more about data. Because that's really, we're all about data models. We don't focus on front ends, so we will never create any front ends such as a job board has, where there is customer interaction. But we will purely focus on the predictive data models and APIs. And so from that perspective, it would be good to have someone that can code and that's into data at the same time. Should you apply, right?
Yeah.
Why should you apply? I think there's different levels to this, right? So I think on a skills level, I think this opportunity is great for someone who kind of knows their way around coding, but has really appetite to do a bit more data. And I think we have data analysts who really comes from an analytic or PhD type of background, that they know all about predictive models. They're not necessarily experts in coding. They can do a little bit of Python, but just a little bit, you know, just enough to do the data analysis. Right. But I think someone that has an appetite or a willingness to develop their data side can really benefit in this setup, because we really need a bit of both. And we're willing to say, hey, you know, we can develop and work on the data. It's fine if you don't have that. It's fine if you do not have experience with NLP or machine learning, because we're doing that. And, you know, we will make it part of your learning journey, right? So I think on a skills level, that's what we can offer, is more learning into data. I think the data that we do deal with is obviously people data, right? And so a project that we're currently working on is a client wants a propensity to perform model. So basically we're analyzing all of the employees' performance data, satisfaction data, turnover data, and we're comparing it against their profiles and their skills. And so it is a bit more human-centered. So someone who joins needs to be comfortable kind of like looking at those things. If they don't have experience, it's fine, but you need to be comfortable kind of working with people data, or have an interest in that to a certain extent. I think culturally, we're looking for someone who appreciates the freedom and the ownership. Because I think that's definitely the environment that we give. The person will report into myself and will get mentorship from our current developer, obviously. But I'm not a micromanager. I'm definitely someone who likes to develop potential in people and give them the freedom to do so. Right. And so I think for people who need micromanagement, and there's some people that actually prefer a bit of clarity and structure, then this is not the right opportunity. But for people that, you know, maybe they felt stuck in a big company, or they're only looking after a little piece of work, then this job is really about taking ownership and kind of like driving it, really driving results for the team. So I think that's what we offer. It's really about the data, and I think also the environment and personal development, obviously, as a psychologist, is something that I prioritize. So those are the main reasons I think why people should join us. So first is obviously can send me an email. You have my email address. So send me an email with your resume, and if you can, include a bit on why you're applying, that would be nice. The second thing is it is important for us that the person can code APIs, right? And so we will actually have a bit of a case. It's a simple case, but where we will be able to see how someone's coding. And so that's a case. And then we do a personality test, because attitude does matter. And there's no right or wrong in personality, but it's really about knowing someone and taking that into account when we're interviewing someone, right? So for us, it's really like the more data we have regarding you, the easier it is to get to know you, basically.
Right.
So it's case, personality test, and then there's an interview where you get to present your case, and where we talk a bit more about, hey, you know, what's important for you, you know, what is important for your learning journey, you know, what kind of manager brings out the best in you. And all of these questions matter to us, because being a startup, you do have to look for the right fit in terms of culture. And so we do ask a lot of these questions in the interview. And so generally it's one interview, and then the second one is actually a feedback interview, where we kind of say, everyone actually that has done the case gets detailed feedback on how they have performed, because we want to give something back. But then, you know, for some people there might be an offer then in that last interview as well. So that's it, basically. It is send resume, case and personality test, interview, and then offer.